All right, everyone. Good morning. I am Ariel Shaw. I am the founder of Southern Crescent Women in Business. We had a good registration for this group, so we were trying to give folks a little bit more time to get in. We had almost, I think, about 60 folks registered, but we want to go ahead and get started for those who were able to make it in on time and be respectful of everyone's time. This morning we have Lincoln Park of WebMobile Fusion. He has offered social media training at zero cost. Although I said, are you sure? But of course, if you know Lincoln, if you don't know Lincoln, you'll understand who he is, and he absolutely wanted to make sure that he offered this for of no cost to you guys in this particular time. Why? Because at this particular time, everyone is on social media, everyone. So we thought it was essential that you guys have the proper tools in order to best capitalize off of this time. And we don't mean capitalize in a bad way, although I know sometimes people people have it has a bad meaning to it in some cases, but we want to make sure you guys have all the information that you could possibly get at this time to push through, especially if you're still trying to keep your business afloat. We want to make sure you have good information. So I want to turn it over to Lincoln so he can introduce who he is and go ahead and get started.
All right. Thank you, Ariel. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for being on here today. I know, during this time, a lot of us are going through a lot. It's different. We're doing a lot of stuff online. I was just talking to a friend of mine last night, and and we were talking about, even though, some of us are really appreciative of, we get the ability to work from home and do things at home. There's still a ton of people that, it's the flip side for them. They're essential workers, and, they have to go in and run businesses like a lot of you guys are doing. And, you got to keep things going. So when Ariel and I talked about this, definitely I said, whatever I could do to help out with any knowledge that I have and share with other folks that are business owners and, or you work for corporate organizations, I wanted to do that. So I'm just gonna share my screen with you guys. How I'm gonna do it. I have a few slides that I want to share with you and sort of set the baseline for this marketing. What it's called is double your sales discovery. So I typically do these sessions individually, and I charge for them. But I said, look, this isn't the time for that. Let's just go ahead and get this information out there. And then after that, I do have what I'm going to share with Ariel. I'm going to share a link that has a bunch of tools and resources in it that you guys can use at your leisure. But I wanted to start from the beginning to sort of break it down, because sometimes we just jump into marketing and we don't have the baseline for where we need to start from to really grow our business. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And let's see here. Share my screen here. And let's do this. All right. So you can see my screen, right?
I can see your screen, yes.
Okay. Yes.
If everyone can put their something in the chat box, let us know that you can see the screen and hear us. Go ahead, Lincoln.
Okay, so what we're going to be talking about is doubling your sales, and really in this time and age right now, we could do that. So there's the problem that we typically have is, a lot of people ask the question, why my business isn't growing as fast as it should be, especially during these times. But I want to share with you exactly what we need to do to grow. And one of the first parts of that is you have unpredictable sales. And it's either driven by, you have referrals, or, you have other sources that you're using, or you might be doing social media, and sometimes it's unpredictable. So you don't know where are my sales coming from. You don't even know. So it's unpredictable. So what I'm going to share with you guys is how we can make that a predictable sales process. So you don't want to be this guy that's out here, that the sleazy sales guy that you see that's out there, that's pushing your, and that's who I didn't want to be, especially in this kind of time. I didn't want to be this guy that was charging, because we're in a different mindset now. And the mindset is, and I think for everybody, all of us as business owners, what we need to do is provide as much value as possible. And I talk to other business owners, and I say, and they're like, should we be charging? Yes, you got to make money. You have to make money. But during this time, I've already put in my mind, my mindset is, okay, I may lose money during this period. And it's tough, because I do have a family to feed. You guys have families to feed. We got to keep things going. But in my mindset, I said, okay, what can I do that's going to help out? Because reciprocity, it just happens. It happens, and that's something. If you give, you're going to receive. You don't know when that's going to happen. You don't know how it's going to happen. But you don't want to be this guy right now, especially in this day and time, where you're pushing a lot of stuff. So you also don't want to burn a lot of cash. A lot of big companies right now, especially when you talk about marketing, and small companies also, like ours, we don't want to just be dumping a bunch of cash and burning it, on marketing. You might be running Facebook ads. You say, I'm going to do Instagram, I'm going to do Facebook, or, TikTok, I'm going to do all this stuff, and I'm going to start spending some money because I want to get out there. I need people to see me because I need to make some money. I say step back a little bit. And if you don't have some of this stuff in place, then put some of this stuff in place first. And then that's going to take you, as we go through this and move through this period, you're going to see where you're going to end up after that. So my objective is to show, where we want to go. And that's having predictable sales. You always want to have predictable sales down to the dollar. You want to track it. I track every single dollar that I spend. Any of my customers, if they're coming to me and they say, Lincoln, we want you to run Facebook ads for us. We want you to run YouTube, different ad platforms. I need to tell them, okay, they want to know every single month, what's my ROI on this? I'm spending this amount of dollars. What exchange for sales? And I have to make sure that it's predictable, and I can give them these resources every single month. And that's what I'm going to share with you guys also. Because you want to be, a trusted advisor. You want to be somebody that when people are coming to you, they trust you. You want to be that person where, that exactly what's going to happen. When you go to the doctor, you obviously know if something's wrong with you, if something's wrong with your marketing, you're going to go to somebody that can help you. You go to a doctor, somebody that you trust, that's going to give you the right information. They're not going to be trying to pull a scam on you. So you make sure you go to a trusted source. Then you want to make sure that you have that it's profitable. Okay. So you want to make sure that you have profitable growth every single month, and tracking the process and making sure, okay, this is what I'm spending, this is what's coming in. If something isn't working, then you pause that, you look at what's going on in the analytics, and then you say, okay, now I need to pivot and adjust. So the goal is to give you a formula and a framework for predictable growth over a 90-day period. And this is what it's going to take, in order to get to that spot. So today, what I'm gonna cover, I'm gonna share the framework, that process that I have. Then I'm gonna share some resources and tools, and then I'm gonna open it up for QA. If you guys have any questions or any help or anything like that that you need, if I can do that, I may not be able to answer all of your questions, but if I can do that, I definitely will. Or I'll go and research it and then get back to you guys with any of the questions, because I don't claim to know everything, but you know, I do know some things. So so let's talk about you a little bit. You see right here, this is called a growth audit. And I'm going to share this with you guys, but if you have a pen and paper right now, or you could grab a piece of pen, a piece of paper and a pen, I want you guys to draw this out on your on that piece of paper. So you know, this is going to help you right now, and this is just high level, but this is what I do in these sessions, sort of sit down one-to-one with folks and then go through this entire process, so you have the baseline. So this growth audit, what you're doing is you're gauging yourself on a from a scale of 1 to 5. All right, so the 1 would typically be right here, you know, and what it's saying for awareness. You know, how do I create awareness for my company? How do I create engagement for my company? Lead generation, where am I on a scale of 1 to 5? Conversion optimization, what that is when someone comes to your website, if there's a form or something on your website, or a landing page or something like that, where people have to fill out information in order to get something, so that's an exchange. Are they converting? Are they coming to this tool and I'm actually receiving an email address and I'm giving them something? Is that working? So that's conversion optimization. If you don't have any resources like that or anything on your website, all it is creating value, something that you do right now that's on your website, and offer that as a download for somebody on your website. If you want to build your email list, you know, make sure you're providing value. A lot of people, you know, have on their website, oh, sign up for my newsletter. That's not really, a lot of people, I mean, signing up for your newsletter is really not going to do anything for anybody. That's not going to excite them. What's going to excite them is giving away your best stuff. Whatever is your best stuff, and that's the mindset that we need to have, give it away, because it's going to come back to you. Some people are going to take it, they're going to use it, and they're not going to reciprocate anything, and that's fine. We just need to have the mindset of saying, okay, that's okay. It's good, as long as I was able to impart some information to somebody. Then the aha moment is when it's sort of like your customers are like, wow, okay, I see it. Here's the benefit of working with this person. Then the ascension and retention ladder. That's where, okay, customers are actually sticking with you. If you have monthly customers, or if it's a one-off or seasonal or whatever it is, but customers are continuing to pay you every single month, you know, where are you on that scale? 1 to 5. So the 1 would be here and the 5 would be up here. Then reviews and testimonials. Are you getting any? Are you asking for any? Do you have any tools that could help you to get those? If not, are you getting consistent reviews? Again, just put a mark there as a 1, or put a mark here, that's a 5. And then generating referrals. Can you do that? How do you do that? What's the best way in order to make that happen? So generating referrals, again, put a mark there for 1, and then up here you put a mark for 5. And then this is gonna, I call this the wheel. You know, if the wheel isn't all the way around, where, you know, you have it's even all the way around, that wheel isn't gonna roll. Okay, so you know, there's specific areas where you need assistance, or where you need help, or where you need to focus on in order to help those customers out. So here's the framework of how that all works. We have something called the growth triad, okay? And I have 2 screens, so I'm going back and forth on 2 screens. So here's the growth triad. The first one is to make sure that you have a documented journey. And I'm going to show you what that means to have a documented journey. The second thing is to make sure you have actionable metrics. That's where you're going to track every single thing that you do to the detail, to make sure you know what's working and what's not working. And the third thing is having the tools and tactics to be able to pull that off. If you don't have the tools and tactics to be able to pull that off, then again, that wheel isn't going to roll, because you don't have all of these things put together. So typically, everybody doesn't have all of this put together. Even I'm working on a lot of this stuff myself for my own business. consistently all the time, because always trying to improve on it. So you could be in one of three places. You could be stuck in the mud. You know where you're going, but you don't have the tools or the abilities to get there. You know, you're just stuck in the mud. So you don't have the tools. You know where you're going, but you're a little stuck. The next one is bull in a china shop. You got lots of activity, but no idea what's working. You're doing Facebook ads, you're doing Google, you're doing SEO, you're doing all this stuff. But you know, and you're getting some business, and you're like, oh man, this is great. But you're like, I don't know exactly what I did or where that's coming from. I don't know what's actually happening with that. And then the next one is a one-hit wonder, and that's, you have the tactics, and you have the tools, but you don't have a documented framework. And so having all three of these together is what's going to make your marketing and your business stand out to others. And once you have all of this in place, and like I said, it's not all going to be perfect all at the same time, but as long as you're working on it, you could 2x these specific areas. And I'm going to show that to you guys here. So, you know, once you have the majority of these working together, then you have predictable growth. And that's what it all takes: having documented journey, tools and tactics, and actionable metrics. So let's talk about this documented journey and what this is all about. Here's what I use, and I give this to all of my customers. And I'm going to give you guys this as well. This is called Customer Journey Value Worksheet. And in this worksheet, as you can see, it delivers, you know, every company needs this for a predictable flow, because this is how people work with your business. And I equate this to when you are, if you're married or you're dating or whatever, that person didn't come up to you day one and ask you to marry them on day one. You know, it doesn't work like that. So if you're in this area right here, you just become aware of somebody. You're not going to jump from here to here. It's a process. And what we tend to do sometimes is, when we put a Facebook ad out there, we're trying to sell immediately. We're trying to get that sale first thing, and that kind of turns people off. So what we need to do is to make sure that we date people, and we have to date them just like how you dated your spouse, just like how I dated my spouse. You know, I would have thought that I was good looking enough to ask her, you know, to marry me on day one, but that wasn't the case. So I had to go through the dating process, and I had to date her over the course of a couple of years for that to happen. So here's the first stage: awareness, and people become aware of you. Then they engage with you, okay? Then, and there's different steps for each one of these things. Then they subscribe to your business. They want to get more. They're becoming more comfortable. Then they convert. This is where, at this time, an exchange of money happens. So, and how you could do this is, again, if you have on your website, you know, something that you're offering of value, where you could convert that customer. Now they put in that information, and you have their email address. That's a lead for you as a business owner. That's in this subscribe phase. Then it may be a small dollar, something you could think about in your business. Now, what you offer, if it's a service or a consultancy or something where it's small dollar amount, where, you know, it may be a couple $100 or something like that, that somebody can afford, that's really small, just to get them, you know, used to working with you and seeing how you work. And maybe it's something of value. It's a phone call, and nowadays it could be a webinar or something like that that you're offering that's really small dollar. Then that's exchange of money happens in this stage. And then you want to have the excite stage. And this is where you go all out. This is where, you know, you as a business owner, you're laying out, you're laying it all out. You're putting it on the line, and you're giving them, you know, everything, so you can excite them. This is that excite phase. Then on this phase, this is the ascend. This is the ladder of ascension. This is where now you can offer other products and services, where you can start upselling. So now they're happy with you. They're great. Now you can start upselling on other products and services during this ascension period. Then right here is an advocate stage. And this is where, you know, you get customer testimonials. We talked about, how am I getting testimonials? after you've already taken them through all of these stages, now they get to the point where they're working with you. They've upsell on some of your other products and services, and now they get to this point, and you ask them, hey, do you mind if I use you as a case study? And they'll be like, absolutely, definitely. I mean, working with you is a breeze. I mean, it's awesome. I love working with you. Now you could document those as testimonials that's on your website that people are using. You could put those on social media. You could put those out there. And then in this phase right here, where a lot of us are trying to get to, is the promote stage. And in that promote stage is where people just talk about you, period. You don't even have to be there. They're just going to talk about you and say, man, look, Ariel Shaw, she is phenomenal. I mean, she is like, she does so much. She just lays it out. She gives us everything we need. She doesn't even need to be there because of the value that she's provided, and she's taken everybody through this process. So by the time you get here, you're just going to be ranting and raving about us. That is ranting and raving about her or anybody. And this is what your customers are going to do for you because you took them through that process. So this is sort of what it looks like. And I'm going to drop these things in here real quick so you could see what that is for each specific stage. So you see here, the prospect sees an ad, finds you in search, hears about you, or it's a referral. Then they read a blog post or something that engages them on social media or watches a video. Then they opt in to receive some content from you. Again, we talk about, to make a sale, purchase, demo, something, and they get value from that initial transaction, excited. And then you have your core offer, and then you upsell, expand, and retain. Then you have your happy customer that gives, and you give them a testimonial. They can give you a testimonial, and then they happily promote you. I'm going to give you guys this worksheet, and then on your own time, I want you guys to work through this worksheet and say, okay, during the awareness phase, what do I do? What are some of the things that I do in this phase? Okay, do I run Facebook ads? Do I do this? What do I do in all of these stages? How do I excite my customers? Okay, how are you going to get people to this along this path? Don't go from here and then say, I'm going to sell them and try to get them here. No. Okay, if you're running ads, run ads where it's just awareness. It's just, here I am. This is who I am. This is what my company does. This is how we can help. Those are the type of ads that you want to run instead of sell, buy, day one when people are just becoming aware of you. Okay, so now we're going to talk about actionable metrics. And this is something called the growth scorecard. This is a template that how we track. So, any customers that we work with, we track every single thing in this growth scorecard. So over a 90-day period, if we, if a customer and I, when we get together, I say, look, if we're going to work together, we're going to build this for your organization. This is what we're going to do. So what I typically do after, and I'll show you guys the process of what I do, but everybody gets one of these, right? This is the scorecard. And we track every single thing over a 90-day period that we're working together in that awareness, engage, subscribe, promote stages, and we put it down. And then we have a status assigned to it. So after that first 90 days, unique visitors, the audience size, social media audience, we track it. And we say, where are we when we first started to where we are now after the first 30 days, then the second 30 days, and the last 30 days. And then we just track that. I'm going to give you guys one of these scorecards as well. And then I'll include a short little video with that on, how to track that and how you could do that on your own. So here are tools and tactics. We also have that. I have a training platform that has over 20 playbooks in it to help unblock your journey as you're going through. So, it's a platform that you can log in, if you want to learn more about social media, you want to learn more about, ads, you want to learn more about content, I have playbooks for all of those specific areas. So all the playbooks I'll send you guys some resources for those as well. And then what this does is, if you're in this awareness stage and you want to learn how to run ads, then you look at the playbook for that. You log in, look at the playbook, go through the resources and do that. Here are I'm partnered with a company out of Austin, Texas called Digital Marketer, and I am a certified digital marketing partner. So what that means is that all of these courses here are in those playbooks that are being offered. And I think there is, and I'll check after this, there is a link for right now during this time. You could get into this really free and log into some of these classes and do some of these classes free. And it certifies you at the end. You could promote that and you could say, look, man, I'm digital marketer certified in this. So I'm sharing all of this stuff with you guys. Typically, like I said, this is a platform that you log in and you have to pay monthly for it. But I think right now during this time, I'll check. But I think it is, open resources for everybody to be able to log in and use it. So I'll follow up with Ariel on that. So now, this is typically where we would sit down and sort of work through this process. But you guys are going to do that on your own. Where we're going to just, you could work through that awareness phase and work through all of those different phases. So clarity is critical, and this is what's going to help us have some clarity when we're working through, your marketing, and that's that worksheet. So imagine if you could 2x your awareness. You have 2x more people coming into your pipeline. Imagine if you could 2x the engage stage, subscribe, convert, excite, ascend, advocate, promote. What's that? That's 256x growth for your business. If you could just 2x one of those areas, imagine if you 2x all of them, how your business is going to be growing because you're using a process. You're going through a process and taking your customers through a process. That's what's really important. But what if we just 2x just one? Because, okay, 2xing all of those would probably be unrealistic. Everybody's not going to 2x all. I don't have everything 2x. But if you want to drive more traffic, you want to get more leads, to that awareness is where a lot of people need to start, because you want people to become aware of your business. That's just 2x one of them, that one. And then you have more traffic coming in. So we're going to do one stage at a time. So we start with awareness and we build that up, and then we go to the next stage. And again, starting at that awareness phase, we're talking about, social media, running ads. We're talking about search engine optimization, awareness, anything that brings awareness to you. It can be it could be something offline. It could be a magazine article. It can be, I'm not that big on billboards. Because what I feel about billboards is when I put a billboard up, I really just want a billboard up for myself because I like to look at myself. That's how I feel about billboards. But there are digital billboards where what we call ads, that are digital billboards that you run, that are online, that I know you've probably seen them before. If you go to a website and then it drops something on your computer, and then that same ad follows you all the way around. Everywhere you go on Facebook, the ad is there. You go on Google, the ad is there, and those are called retargeting ads. I would recommend doing more of that because you could reach more people. Billboards, I feel, and don't get me wrong, if you run billboards, that's fine, and you're successful with them, that's fine. But for me, I would rather do digital and do digital online because I could reach more people. And if you have a message that's out on 75, in our area is backed up, so people are looking at it, which might be a good thing for you. But when I'm passing that, even if I pass that 100 times on 75, I'm not gonna go out right then and say, oh man, I got it. I have to go do business with WebMobile Fusion. That's just not gonna. That's not gonna work. Where it works best for those billboards is if something's right, a restaurant is right off that exit, or something, or it's right next to a gas station or something like that, then that's immediate where people can get those. So I like to take people through the process. So The next steps are to have a proven growth plan for doubling sales. So here's what you do, and this is what I talk about, having value in advance. So this is where you're giving away your best stuff. You just give it away, whatever that is. If it costs you something, obviously, it needs to be something that's of value. In order for people to exchange information with you now, you got to have something of value. So have value in advanced content that you're putting out there, blog posts, videos. You could do Instagram videos. I know Neat Robinson is really good, with what she's doing for the state of Georgia. She's making people aware of what she's doing everywhere she goes. I know if you guys don't follow Neat on social media, follow her on social media, because I know a lot of you guys know Neat, but everywhere she goes, she documents that and she puts it out. Some people are embarrassed, I don't want to take myself, I don't want to do, no, but you're documenting your journey and you're putting it out there, and she's sharing, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm doing for the state of Georgia. I'm working with these people. I'm doing this and doing it. And people are aware. People see it. And they're like, oh, wow, she's doing some great things. It's the same thing that you guys can do. Create awareness and have value in advance. Then the next thing is, and this is the process that I take people through, so that I'm just sharing this with you. So then we have what's called a discovery, double your sales discovery session. That's what sort of this is in a big format. Then and you can do this with your customers as well. Then what I do is I take people through a 90-day accelerator, growth accelerator. So it's 3 90-day sessions, 3 30-day sessions. So, we'll come into the office and we spread that over 90 days. So we build, optimize, and accelerate. And then we build a goal path for 90 days to double your sales. And the resources that I'm going to share with you guys are some of the things that we do. So, I'm going to give that to you. You could go through it. If you have any questions, definitely, email me, text me, whatever. Call is fine. And I could help walk you through some of that. And then I'll have some videos too that I'm going to shoot that I'll put in that package as well to help walk you guys through some of those tools. But I'm going to try and share some of those with you before we get off. I'm looking at the time, so I'm trying to be respectful of that. So those are over 90 days. And then the next thing that I do is I said, look, here's an option where you could do it yourself. And I create that map and I give it to you, roll it out and say, here you go. You could do it yourself if you want to do it. The next one is where we train the team. And then this is where you use some of the resources that I'm telling you. And then you can get the training, purchase the training to train your own staff. If you have a staff, or, if you're going to be hiring somebody that's going to be doing your marketing, then you want to get this platform so you could go through and get them certified and all that stuff. And the next phase is, if you want WebMobile Fusion to do anything like this for you, then, we're considered like your fractional CMO. So we would come in every quarter. So we'd go through this session, it's 90-day session, and then every quarter we'd check in and see where you are, what you're doing, and we're going to use that growth scorecard to make sure you're tracking along and everything's in the green. So it's not all going to be perfect, but as long as we keep tracking everything that we're doing, and that's going to make it successful. So that's that quarterly growth plan. We have those review sessions. And the typical engagement, with me is typically 12 to 18 months. So in recapping, day 1 through 30, build your customer value journey scorecard, identify growth opportunities. Okay. So, if you guys are writing anything down, and you're thinking in your mind, okay, here's what I do along this journey. Here's what I do in awareness. Here's what I do. Then that's going to help you out. This is the baseline. It seems simple. I know it seems so simple, but having that on paper and actually following it is what's going to make it so much better for you, after 90 days. So after on day 31 through 60, what we do is optimize that value journey with the tools and training, and that stage that I told you about, all the training software, and then we accelerate growth and awareness, and we have some referral strategies that you guys can use as well. So, so the next steps: do it yourself, pay as you grow, or go all in. And I want all of you guys to go all in with this. I want you to use what I'm going to send you and just go all in and say, look, this is what I'm going to do. I need to do this over the next 90 days. I need to do this now, today. I need something to happen. And if you're in that state, then you definitely want to get there. So I want to share with you guys real quickly some tools, and then I'm going to open it up. Ariel, we jump back on, and if anybody has any questions, I'll try to answer whatever questions that I can answer for you. Like I said, I may not know all the answers, but at least I'll try to do the best I can. So what I do, and I'll send this to you guys too, the top 25 super tools that will grow your business. You guys may know some of these, you may not know some of them. Uber Suggest. That's a tool where if you're tracking, if you want to find out exactly like who's coming to my website, what are they doing, what are some of the keywords, what are some of the resources that I could help to grow if I need to write some articles or some blogs. Uber Suggest is a great website that you can go to. It's free, and you could use that. I use that for a lot of my clients and customers. And I have the paid version of this, but there's a free version of it that you could use that really helps you out with keywords. And so if you want to write content to drive people to your website, when you share that on social, then that'll help you out. Google Alerts, you guys may have heard of Google Alerts already. And Google Alerts, all that is if you put out a alert on the screen, say for example, you want to track your company, or you want to track what's going on. So I put in, I go to alerts.google.com and I put in WebMobile Fusion, and then I check that and I put my own name in, Lincoln Parks. And then if anybody's out there on social media or, writing articles or blogs, it pings me. So I set it up to ping me every single day. So if somebody's talking about my business on Twitter or anything like that, then it pings me and I can see what's happening and I can respond to it. So that just helps me to know what's going on. And I do that for my customers as well. So any of my customers out there, I put their businesses in there and some other keywords, and then it just gives me a report every day.
Lincoln,
Canva.
Lincoln, I just want to say,
yes.
I do Google Alerts, and I suggest Google Alerts for everyone. You should be tracking what they're saying about your business as well as your own personal name, especially if you are in the process of creating a personal brand, which I also suggest. And I've been pushing out our ladies to do that. So you should definitely have Google Alerts set up.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm gonna go through these real quick, but again, I'm gonna have a video that's gonna go deeper into all of them. I'm writing. Actually, I've been writing this article now for a couple of weeks, but it goes through all of these tools and like really goes in detail. So a lot of you guys know Canva. If you hadn't heard of Canva, Canva.com. If you're not a graphic designer, you don't know how to design. You see all this stuff out there. Go to Canva.com. They have a free version. They have a paid version where you could design a lot of social media graphics. You could design a lot of graphics and stuff like that for your business, and you could do it, pretty free. You download it. You could make it a PDF. You could send it off to be printed out. All that stuff. So check out Canva. Unsplash is a software. Well, it's a website where you could get free stock images. So, you could put that on your website. If you could also use those on social media. So it's just images. You just type in what you're looking for. And I know a lot of people are always looking for free stock images and stuff like that. So don't go out there and steal people's images, because there's copyright infringement and all that stuff on images. So go to a site like Unsplash, and then you could find free images out there. Google Analytics. If you don't have Google Analytics on your website, make sure you get it on there. Just go to Google Analytics, just type Google Analytics in Google, sign up for a Google account and get that. Again, some of the stuff I'll have in the videos that can walk you through all of that. Sprout Social is a platform that I use for social media. So, I manage a lot of people's social media platforms on the back end. A lot of people don't know that it's me doing it. the social media, and I don't necessarily promote it. But this is a tool that I use. So if you're going to use it for your business, it's really great. Where you could tie in all of your social media into one platform. You could also use Hootsuite and all that, but Sprout Social is a platform that I've been using. It's a paid platform, so you definitely, if you're in that realm and you want to move there, you could use that. Meet Edgar is another social media piece of software, and this is a unique piece of software. What it does is when it's sort of like a Hootsuite or even a Sprout Social, but it can pull from your website. So if you write a lot of blogs or articles, or even from other people's articles that relate to your business, you could pull those in automatically, and it automatically posts out to different platforms. So you could say, I want this post to go out on Monday and Tuesday. Then I want on Facebook and Instagram. Then I want this one to go out on Tuesday just on Facebook, and I want this to go out on Wednesday at 2 o'clock on LinkedIn, and then 3 o'clock on another platform. It is so cool. And what it does, it automatically does this stuff for you. And what it does, it continues to post over and over and over again until you tell it to stop. So this could be your social media manager sort of platform. Once you set it up and you have everything on your calendar in different categories, man, it just runs for you. So I use that as well.
Lincoln, can I jump in real quick? I'm going to say something about the Meet Edgar. So I have not personally used this, but I have a friend who actually helped manage one of the presidential campaigns, and they use this often. So if you know anything and understand how social media can be a beast, and it's a management time, and Meet Edgar, I definitely have seen that it is definitely one of those tools that if you are serious about getting information out and being consistent,
yes,
I would strongly encourage looking at Meet Edgar as well.
Definitely. Another platform, these two, number 8 and 9, ManyChat and Intercom. These are right now, especially in the day and time, ManyChat and Intercom are chatbot software. And I've implemented chatbot software on a lot of different websites around. One that you could see that's locally that you guys may know is Heritage Bank. So I implemented their chatbot on their website, so it interfaces with when customers come to the website. They have customer service folks that are behind the scenes, and then they also and I set it up so that it's an automatic chatbot that you could talk to, and it sort of directs you in certain areas and stuff like that. So that's a consistent thing that's always going. You could have that on your website. If you're not available, sometimes people could interact with your chatbot, and it's running 24/7 on your website. So Intercom and ManyChat, those are two different platforms there that you could use. Lead Pages is just a platform where you could create landing pages. And I'm going to go through the rest of this really quick. Trello is like a project management software, a visual project management software. I know a lot of people have heard about SurveyMonkey, where you could send out surveys to your list and your audience. Google Search Console. This is sort of a platform where it allows you, again, sort of like Uber suggests, looks at keywords. You could put your website in. You have to add some code to your website, and it tells you who's coming to your website and like how did people find you. And sometimes it shows where you're ranked on the search engine. So that's another tool that I use. MailChimp, definitely a email newsletter software. EverWebinar, this is a platform where you can create webinars sort of like this, or you create your own webinars, and then you could have those automated. So now this can be like an evergreen webinar that you have running consistently. So say, for example, you want to offer software, or you want to offer something about your business. This is a webinar that you record one time, put it out there, and then it's running consistently. So it always looks like, and then people can choose times when to join and all that stuff, and it'll look like the webinar is going on live, but actually you're somewhere working with the client, and this webinar is happening. People are signing up for it 24 hours a day on your website, and you're generating leads. So EverWebinar, that's another good platform. Zapier is software that I use to do marketing automation. So it ties in with a bunch of tools. So I'll give you an example. So for example, if someone comes to my website, they filled out a form, they go into MailChimp, and then once they go into MailChimp, Zapier looks at it and it says, okay, this person filled out this specific form. Now I want them to get this email series that I wrote up, or I want them to get this piece of software, or send them something else. And then it's sort of like the middle piece that automates a lot of traffic and automates a lot of tools and resources that I send out to people. So that's another good software. They have a free version of that. Is Zapier.com if you want to look at that. And don't get overwhelmed by a lot of this stuff. You know, I just wanted to let you guys know what these tools are. You could research them on your own after this. Typeform is sort of just like it's another form type software that you can use, and it's sort of like the Survey Monkey. Active Campaign is sort of just like MailChimp. It's a marketing automation software. HubSpot is the same marketing automation. It has a CRM marketing automation all built in. If you guys have Yoast SEO plugin, if you guys use WordPress to build your websites out there, and I recommend WordPress. You could build your website in like Wix and Squarespace and Weebly and a couple of those other things. But the downside to building in those, you could get your website out quickly and it'll look nice and you'll have a great website. But the downside to building it in those platforms is SEO and search engine optimization. That's when people type in. With WordPress, it's already, there's tons of resources that are already built into it. So when you plug this plugin in, it helps you with your SEO. It tells you what to do. Every article that you write or every page that you create, it tells you what to put in certain areas so people can find you on the search engines, and that ties into WordPress. So that's really good. Slack is a software where you can collaborate with other people in your business. So if you have contractors, or when I onboard a customer, I have a Slack channel that's created specifically for them so they could communicate with me instead of sending a bunch of emails. Then we just communicate through Slack, and they can upload files. I could send files to them, and everything is tracked in that one channel. So that's what I do use Slack for. You talked about WordPress. That's your platform that you're going to use for building your website. Asana is a project management software. So I have Project Manager, which is my wife, on our platform, and she uses Asana. So any of the projects that we have, she just puts everything in Asana, so it's all tracked, and we could interface and let the customer know what's happening. Then these last two, Bing Places and Google My Business, very, very critical. Very critical. If you have not claimed your business, Google My Business or Bing Places pages, just go on Google and then type in Google My Business. And then what you're going to have to do is you go claim, if you have a local business, brick and mortar business. Unfortunately, they're not doing it for internet businesses or home-based businesses or anything like that. But if you have, the way how you could get around that is if you use like a UPS mailbox or something like that. You can't use the post office, but if you use it, because it has a street address, and you could just use a UPS mailbox and do Google My Business, and you claim this is my business, you could create your business profile. They're going to send you a postcard in the mail, and then you just go with that postcard, and they're going to give you a code to verify that it is your business. You plug that in, and this is how a lot of people find you online at Google My Business. And you could optimize your page. You could post articles out there. You could put videos, all kinds of stuff. So it just helps people to find you online. And that's the exact same thing with Bing Places. So Bing Places just allows you to claim your listing. A lot of people are on Bing. A lot of people take Bing for granted. You could run Bing ads. You could do a bunch of stuff on Bing, and you're probably missing out on a lot of traffic if you're not using Bing. So that's the tools that I had to share with you guys today. Here's my information. Just wanted to share it with you. Again, I'm a certified digital marketer partner. Been in digital marketing for over 15 plus years. Do marketing and innovation for community banks and small businesses. I do host a podcast weekly. It's called Geek Speak, WebMobile Fusion. So if you guys want to listen to a podcast, and I share a lot of this stuff on the podcast, just go on any of Spotify, Apple, anywhere. You just look up Geek Speak, WebMobile Fusion, and you could listen to the podcast. And I'm always looking for guests. So if you guys want to be, a guest on the podcast, you want to talk about your business, what you do, how you're helping out people, definitely would be honored to have any of you guys on the podcast. This is my website, webmobilefusion.com. This is how you could get in contact with me. So Ariel, that is it. I hope I maximized the time and didn't waste anybody's time today.
Oh, no, you absolutely didn't. Thank you, Lincoln. Are you guys able to see me now? Or I did start my video again.
Sure.
All right. So I want to open it up to any questions. So again, I definitely want to make sure, especially the ladies, that if you are on social media, you are absolutely using using it the best way that you can. There are several tools listed that can assist you in managing. If you are on, just for example, Instagram, most people know Instagram backs up into your link or into your Facebook. If you do not have a business page and a profile set up on Instagram, I strongly suggest that you do. If you do not have a public page, so that's a non-private page on Instagram and Facebook, I strongly suggest that you do that as well. Again, all of that backs up into Facebook, so you do not have to share it from different points. You can share it from one point. So if you post on Instagram, you have the opportunity again to share on multiple platforms, whether it's Facebook and additional Twitter in addition to that. So if you guys have any questions in regard to what you have seen, specifically in regard to what Lincoln has presented, please ask them now.
Yep, and then, like I said, also, Ariel, I'm gonna send this. I'll send that link to you that has all that stuff in it. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. If nobody had a question, I can pull this up and then sort of share something.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? You can unmute yourself if you need to ask it, not in a chat. just the microphone, not the video.
Hey, Ariel and Lincoln, this is Kaylin. How are you guys doing?
Hey, Kaylin.
Hey, I have a question with the Google My Business. Now, you had mentioned, Lincoln, that if it doesn't work well with like just the internet, like a web address. So my takeaway from that is that I really need to get a PO box, so it doesn't really tie to my home.
Right.
But a PO box at the post office or something of that nature to tie it. I already have Google My Business. It's just that it's only linked to my website and not to a physical address.
Right. Yeah. So I would definitely link that to a street address. I go to I hadn't seen it. You could probably do it with the post office and get a PO box, but the way I do it is just go to UPS and just get one of their small mailboxes because they have a street address. So I know Google had changed some stuff where you may not be able to use the post office, but I'm not sure. But I know I use the UPS, so just go to UPS, get one of their smallest boxes, and then you could use that, so that way you have a street address tied to it.
Okay, and I have a UPS store right across the street, so
Right.
I'll definitely look into that. Thank you. So
No
if I'm currently using that email, or not email address, the website,
Right.
that's not really pulling into traffic, even though I am showing some traffic
Right.
from there where I get my analytics that feed into me. I can
Mm-hmm.
see that there is some traffic coming, but I guess I would be able to get more traffic with that physical address.
Yeah, having that physical address, because Google is gonna do what they're looking for is they're looking for people that if you have a physical address, they're gonna send, you know, and you're ranking up there on the search engine, and you have your page optimized, and that's what I'm gonna share with you too in this resource tool, how to optimize every piece of your Google My Business page, and then you have that physical address, you will get more traffic.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
Does anyone have any other additional questions? Is everyone on at least Instagram and Facebook? And is there a consistent name? You're not one thing on one platform and another thing on another platform. If you can put something in the chat box that indicates that you are consistent on both platforms and you are in fact on both at least. Okay, awesome. Okay, good. Sylvia, Vanessa, Mitchell, awesome. Okay. So does anyone have any other questions, guys?
And if not, Ariel, let me just, I'm gonna share two last things, and then we can wrap it up.
Okay.
Okay, let me just share this here. Share this tool here. Let's see if I can pull it up. Okay, share. Okay, this resource here that I'm going to be sharing with you guys, you can come in here and you can check off. These are all resources to get more customers. So all of these things you could come in and you could check off, okay, I do this, I do this, I do this, you know, podcast, yeah, I do this. And then you come in and then sort of just, you have a score for yourself. And then here to get them to spend more money, and then to increase buying frequency. And you check off some of the things that you do, and then give yourself a score. And then when you get that score, you want to make sure so you could see in each one of these categories the amount of things that you're doing, direct mail, whatever it is that you're doing, and then it's going to really map out for you once you create your customer value journey. Okay, what things am I doing that's tying into awareness or tying into engagement? So that's a resource that I'm going to share with you. And then the other one is this is the customer value optimization. So determine your product market fit, and then choose a traffic source that you're going to use. Here's all your traffic sources, you know, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, email, SEO, blogging, all of this stuff, right? And then this is sort of how I have things mapped up. This is on a small scale. Obviously, some other marketing campaigns are bigger than this, but then that lead magnet is that thing that's going to cause people to interact with you. And then it takes you down here. This offer a tripwire is sort of like, you know, a service that you're offering to them. And then it's just taking them along a process. If they don't get that, then they get a email series that's automated and that follows up with them along this buyer journey, along all the journey, to be able to do business with you. That's why I say you start off with something, creating awareness. You give them something that they're going to interact with you, and then it takes them through your journey, all the while you're automatically following up with them, and then, you know, takes them down here, and, you know, they could be retargeted to, and by this time they're doing business with you once they get in these two stages right here. So all of this is going to be in that packet, and like I said, I'll include some videos with this as well, some short videos that'll really help help you guys. So hopefully after this call, Ariel, I want to hear some people doing some stuff. So
Right.
hopefully, you know, any of this stuff helps out, you know, definitely let me know, because I'd be happy to help anybody along, you know, the process if it doesn't if you get confused with some of the stuff that I'm sending over.
Okay. Anybody have any additional questions? Please ask them now. I'll just say, in your messaging, make sure, especially at this particular time, you are again bringing value. You're not just selling. You also want to make sure you're empathetic at this particular time. You should be empathetic anyway, but empathetic especially at this particular time. And if you do have a service that people need, you know, making sure in your messaging you're absolutely creating and stating what that value will be, but again, still being empathetic. um I just want to be clear that you don't want to come across again as Lincoln said, as the sleazy salesperson. Because there are a lot of people hurting, but if you again have something that people need and you have value, I would strongly just encourage you to make sure that you know, you put that information out there. Very interesting and helpful. Okay, yes, great. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. We definitely just wanted to make sure again that we're bringing information for you guys to implement now. We want to make sure you have the tools. We want to make sure you guys are on all platforms, and that you're utilizing these platforms at this particular time. Again, be very, very conscious of your messaging at this time. Period. You should be conscious, but definitely right now. All right. So if there are no more questions, everyone's saying thank you. You're welcome. Lincoln, thank you.
Thank you for
I
having me on.
appreciate you.
Yes, no problem. You know it.
Yes. So we will definitely have this recording for everyone. We will clean it up a little bit and get it out to folks as soon as we can. We're a little behind in getting these recordings out, but as soon as we can, we're getting them out. So if you have any additional questions, please let us know. We'll send you guys the digital download that Lincoln has created and put together. And if you have any questions, you can contact him directly.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you. You all have an amazing Thursday. All righty. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.